Larry Pratt will continue to check in with you at gunowners.org. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
God bless. We'll come back in the second hour. Reed says the rise of the Tea Party, very, very disconcerting. Biden, they have acted like terrorists. We're going to take your phone calls ahead of former presidential candidate for the Constitution Party and great patriot, Chuck Baldwin, joining us. And we'll continue with calls towards the end of the broadcast and with Chuck. The toll-free number to join us on this whole Super Congress Committee of 13 Council of Satan situation. We'd love to hear from you. 800-259-9231. 1-800-259-9231. And we will get you up and on the air. Again, 800-259-9231. Here's some of the news. Palin Bachman ripped Biden for calling Tea Partiers terrorist. And I've got the quotes here. Reed says the rise of the Tea Party, very, very disconcerting. Biden, they have acted like terrorists. And then I have that New York Times editorial where they say the Tea Party are terrorists. And they mean not Mitch McConnell saying he leads the Tea Party, who came up with the Super Congress idea, and who plays politics saying the Tea Party won. Yeah, if you're for the principles of the real, original Ron Paul Tea Party, the Tea Party lost big time. And some of the Tea Party congressmen were so traitorous or so dumb, I guess because, you know, their mom and dad were brother and sisters or whatever. The issue here is this is absolute tyranny. You just heard Larry Pratt, but that's how the spin works. I heard that on talk radio this morning. Yeah, Tea Party made them compromise. We're conservatives. We're winning. I mean, you have got to stop being complete idiots. You people are about as dumb as Obama supporters. I tell you, I mean, you mainline Republicans just make me want to throw up. But it doesn't matter. They still know at the heart of the Tea Party is get rid of the Federal Reserve, cut taxes, get rid of corporate welfare. George Soros is a bad guy. Second Amendment's good. Control our borders, national sovereignty, red, white, and blue. So even though you're silly and ignorant and dumb, you at heart are better than the communist that the bankers created to go rob everybody and then transfer the loot to them. They're like contract bank robbers, country burners. And so you are the enemy. You're like Joker in Full Metal Jacket. You're silly and you're ignorant, but you got guts, and guts is enough. And so I told you they're getting ready to rebrand it. This is a major talking point. I mean, I saw them in their inter-council memos that leaked and were public, as they think we're all stupid, where they said, man, we sure need an Oklahoma City or new 9/11, but blame it on domestic groups. We really need this bad. Remember, and even Beck had to come out and admit they were getting ready to stage one. And when they blow up a federal building, folks, we need our people to always be watching. And when you see an explosion or something, go towards it and videotape everything. And we're going to catch them with their pants down this time. We hope they don't stage the attack. And they haven't been staging as many because every time they try, our people are on the scene. Whether it's the shooting in Norway or the underwear bomber where we had the witnesses that he was gotten on the plane and protected for a month and a half. They said we were conspiracy theorists, and later the State Department had to confirm it. But you got the New York Times saying the Tea Party is Hezbollah and are terrorists and enemies of America and are going to destroy America. You got Reed, you got Dum-Dum Pelosi, you got all these crooks doing this. And you got Biden running around saying it. You got the New York Times. That's the talking point. And people are like, well, it's figurative. No, it's not. They know their super Congress is illegal. They know people are waking up to the Republican criminals and the Democratic criminals at the top. And they don't want Republicans and Democrats ever getting together and figuring out what's really going on. They are scared to death that Democrats, rank and file, who are well-meaning people on average, who think share the wealth actually works. They don't understand the ultra-rich call for higher taxes because they're exempt from it to destroy their competition. How many times have we documented that paradigm? And you conservatives that think corporations are perfect when they're bigger than governments and operate like governments. Get your heads out of the ground or out of the sky or out of wherever you got it, out of fairyland, and get it into the real world, okay? Or we're going to get hurt real bad. This isn't a victory for anybody but the offshore globalists raping this country 7 ways to Sunday. Then we're going to briefly look at the economy and gold at all-time highs on the other side. Then your phone calls at 800-259-9231. I'm Alex Jones. This is the GCN Radio Network, GCNlive.com. We're streaming live video at prisonplanet.tv. Okay, if you just joined us, here's the deal. ABC, CBS, CBS News, Fox News, Huffington Post, they're all reporting, just in case you're doubting this, we've also reported on it as well before they even passed it, that the Super Congress, the Council of 13, 6 House, 6 Senate, and the President, who's the veto power overlord, he's in this blasphemous 13, he's the Messiah, and they're the disciples. He's Sauron, or the Emperor, and they're his little Darth Vaders. They originate legislation. Remember you watched School Time Rock, how the bill gets introduced by the House member and debated and looked at? We don't need any stinking lower House members or senators. We've got the Council of 13. It's like a science fiction book. If I'd have written a science fiction book 20 years ago about in 2011 a Council of 13 ruled and no one cared or understood how big a deal it was. I mean, that's the thing. They're like, oh, yeah, there's a new system of government. Even the Huffington Post says that, and it's pretty good. President actually has veto power over everything now, and yeah, it's kind of fun. And now the bills originate in the council, and then the House and Senate are given up or down votes. But if they don't vote for it, if they vote no, then the council does what it wants. So the council says, here. I mean, that's like going into a restaurant and everything on the menu is fly soup. You say, I don't want fly soup. What else? They go, well, sir, there's fly soup. As you can see, there's 27 listings here of fly soup. What do you got to drink? We have rancid tap water. And then we have rancid tap water. They're like, what and then they look at us like we're crazy. You're saying there aren't choices here, sir. There are 27 listings of fly soup. And you're like, but how is it different? Different types of flies in the soup? And they're like, no, but it's listed repeatedly. So you pass what we bring you. I just read it last hour twice from CBS News and the text of it. I can't believe this, the magnitude of this. I mean, this is such a joke if it wasn't so serious. You pass what we give you, and Harry Reid says it's for guns, taxes, everything. It's everything now, not just spending. That's what the public was told. See, this all much ado about nothing about getting an agreement last minute was about ramming this through. And again, it'll just fade off into the distance. And oh, the Council of 12, you know, with the 13th leader, the Council of 13, it said this, it did that. And it's in McClatchy newspapers. It's in all the articles. They're saying, wow, here's one, fiscal conservatives barred from super committee. So now they're debating, people are jockeying, who gets to get on the committee? The committee, there's 13 presidents now. There's a council of elders. I mean, yes, we have lived to see it. And, well, I mean, here's one, Reid vows to raise taxes. And the El Presidente is set to give a speech in a moment. It'll be about the victory for America, and we came together, and not everybody got what they wanted. By the way, the cuts don't even exist. Down the road, don't worry, they're going to cut your Social Security and other stuff, but they're really cutting them by inflation, which they never talk about, or the dollar devaluation, evidenced by the dollar going down and gold at $1,642.70 last time I checked. U.S. borrowing to surge after debt cap raised. $2.4 trillion would be largest debt limit increase in U.S. history. They're just getting us started. They've already signed us on to 1.5 quadrillion. 1.5 quadrillion. Well, Lord Obama speaking. Here, let's fade up a little bit of our Lord and King, the leader of the 13th Council. Sauron.
Stalemate in Congress right now involving our aviation industry, which has stalled airport construction projects all around the country and put the jobs of tens of thousands of construction workers and others at risk.
It's more flim-flam. Of course, if he suddenly was put under a truth system, some ray beam hit him to make him tell the truth, he would say, we are transferring the last of your jobs. The General Electric Council heading up the White House is moving their X-ray division over there. We've spent tens of billions moving more industry, upwards of $4 billion moving General Motors to South America, China, and Eastern Europe. We're totally raping you. We've devalued most of the dollar, and now we're getting rid of the rest of the value. I'm coming after your guns outside of law. I ship weapons to Mexico. I've bankrupted the entire economy by design. The health care plan was written by the HMOs to rob you and lower your standard of care and take the power to make decisions away from doctors. I'm an absolute 21st century tyrant pimp reading off a teleprompter. But instead, America's doing good, and I'm going to get you some jobs, yeah. And Bush, I promise, we're not listening to you without wiretaps. Of course, things would be a heck of a lot easier. This is dictatorship, just so long as I'm the dictator. I mean, it is such a joke. All right, I want to go to your calls. But again, Gun Owners of America says this will affect guns. Harry Reid says you bet your bottom dollar. And now you can't filibuster, you can't add amendments, you can't block diddly squat. And they're saying, you know what? Said it 2 weeks ago. President's going to start doing stuff without Congress. He already started, but we're going to put you on that no-fly list for no-buy list. You got to go buy a gun. You can't find out why you got on the list. There's a new sheriff in town. It's called New World Order. It's called banker takeover. And then they got that slime bag Mitch McConnell who proposed all this garbage. A couple of weeks ago said, just give the power of the purse to Obama, as if he has the power to do that. Forget the other 99 senators. I say we just give it to Obama. And then he told us this was a victory for the Tea Party. Yeah, like getting a hole in your head is a victory for, I mean, this is just insane. I wanted to briefly bring Ted Anderson up, then we'll go to Marcus, Brian, Connie, Jenny, Ryan, and others. But Ted Anderson, just briefly, your take on all this, and then I want to tell folks about buying silver and gold. You know, 3 months ago, they drove it down artificially. You bought a Dragon's hoard of gold and silver and put it in your local bank vault. And as that sold out, as it went up, you kept buying it as much as you could get. And so you do have it when it was lower, just not like it was 3 months ago, in gold and silver. And it's going to keep going up, but folks can get in a time machine and go back to a few months ago and still get good deals on gold and silver. And I hope people take advantage of that at the end of the day, or they can just let the globalists devalue their dollars. But Ted, what's your view on this whole situation?
Well, I mean, the way you described it, and it's just so crazy, it's not even funny. I mean, now, they're at least admitting, like, for instance, Bloomberg has a report out right now that says that the debt agreement puts the U.S. on the path to the end of stimulation just as the economy falters. You know what? It doesn't matter. They pass the debt stimulation. It's going to devaluate the currency. They don't pass the debt to stimulation. It's going to mean that Moody's and Standard & Poor's is going to downgrade our bonds. I mean, it doesn't matter. We've reached the end of our rope here economically. We've gone way too far into debt. We've destroyed our currency. We've handed off the power to the banking system. It's just a sad,
Ted, I had a friend who went in for minor surgery and got an infection. Came out of the hospital. A week later, all his organs started failing. And his dad lives in Dallas, grew up next door to him. His dad lived in Dallas and was racing down here. And his body was paralyzed, but he was awake. And they were pumping him full of, at the hospital, speed and or whatever they said was to keep him awake, just so his family could get there. And they were pumping him full of adrenaline. And his eyes, and they'd shoot him up with it, and he'd open up, and he couldn't talk, and he was just looking at me, but he was conscious. And then right as his dad got there, they were shooting him up with more, because they were saying he's dead already. And then I watched him. They gave him more, but they said his arteries have all collapsed. The stuff isn't working anymore. He'll be dead very soon. And they had him on a respirator. Imagine he's conscious with the respirator, like Darth Vader. And that's America. And the bankers are just keeping us alive while they get their money offshore. I'm sorry, Ted, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like you're describing our economy. As sad as that story is that your friend had to die that way, but that's what's going on in the United States economy. And that's what they're doing. They're injecting insulin into the economy, trying to bolster it and get it back going again, and it isn't working. And so what do we have here today on gold? I mean, that's the key factor. See,
yeah, that's a lifeboat with the sinking ship, and you've got the best deals out there. It's why you've grown from nowhere in the last few decades to now, the 5th largest gold and silver broker. Ted, give folks the offers, and I'm going to come back, go to calls, and go to our next guest.
Okay, right now we have the franc at $3.58. The British sovereign is at $4.49. I'm still holding that book and that DVD offer, even though the prices have gone up. The American Dream, Big Brother, $85 delivered. Thank God people are taking advantage of that, so they're waking up, but I want more, too. There's no question about it. You should get into that. You're going to get 2 silver dollars. You're going to need those silver dollars like you wouldn't believe, man, when it comes down to what's going on now. And then with the book and the video, it's just, you're not going to find this deal anywhere in the entire United States. Plus, also, It takes 30 dimes, new ones, to buy the old constitutional dime. What are you going to do, wait till it takes 100 of them?